dive into this MVP talk. This is something that's been discussed in all different types of ways. All different types of ways. I'm sure everybody's seen the clips.
It's not even about basketball anymore.
Right?
It hasn't even turned.
Oh
it's not
my
even about
god! It turned into like politics and stuff.
It's become, and this is the good thing about basketball. And the bad thing is like it's not always about basketball and all that. But then it's the bad part is that it's not always about basketball. Like we get talked about everything, but sometimes it's like, can we make the MVP race about the game of basketball? Not because this guy's white, this guy's black, it's just turned into craziness where it's like, no, like it's about what happens on the court. Like, why can't we that's what it's about. Like, and I feel like most people like us, that's what we care about. Like, all right, we care about, wins and losses and stats and all that per 36 and all that. And it's just like outside media that, because that's what gets clicks.
Exactly.
They focus on that stuff because that's not. I don't think about race when I'm thinking about the end. I'm like, man, Joker, he's kind of white. I win 3 times, but he's not really white. It's like it's stupid. It's nonsense. Like, no, if he has stats, I don't care what he could be purple. If he's the best player and he's purple, then he's the MVP. Like, who cares about it? That's all nonsense. I hate that crap.
I'm right there with you, man. I don't even let it get to me. But that being said, let's just take it on basketball. Let's stick it on basketball, right? Who's your MVP this season, Joel Embiid or Nikola Jokic, and why?
My MVP is neither.
Neither, okay.
It's Giannis.
Okay.
Giannis has done it. I know Joker has done it. He doesn't have another all-star with him, but Jamal Murray he could be an all-star,
right? Yeah, exactly.
He's in a conference where there's just so many guards, right? But you could say he's an all-star level player, right?
Aaron Gordon has injury, right?
And he's come off the injury too, and has played really well, right? Aaron Gordon has played really like he could have been an all-star this year. Like if they had a second guy that could have made the all-star team, it was Aaron Gordon. Like he's played really great defensively. Like because remember they traded Jeremy Grant. When Jeremy Grant left to Detroit those few years, they realized, wow, we underappreciated Jeremy Grant big time and all that. And then they had to try to find someone then they got Aaron Gordon from Orlando and all that. And he struggled in the beginning, but has definitely found his role and all that. And then they got Michael Porter. That's the one guy I struggled. Michael Porter, man, like, he's the X factor for them and all that.
Yes.
But like Giannis has had, Brook Lopez has played great and all that, but Middleton's has missed a lot of big portion of the season. And all that. I know they got Drew and all that, but like what Giannis has been able to do this year has just been phenomenal, both ends and all that. Taking a bigger load offensively because there's no Middleton and all that, and he's still being dominant and all that, and has them right there. Are they the 1 seed right there? They're still the 1 seed.
Still the 1 seed, yeah.
And they should have won last night against the Warriors. They should have blown that. So they'd be up 2 games right now on Boston and all that. But yeah, I think Giannis is the end. They have the best record in the league right now, and he's done it mostly without Middleton and all that. The offense is, some of the efficiency numbers were down a little bit because there was no Middleton, but now he's getting back to his offensive, efficiency and all that, having really great games and all that. So to me, right now, I'm going to go Giannis, followed by Joker, and then I would put Embiid third, Tatum fourth. That's my top 4.
Okay. Nick, what about you? Embiid, Jokic, or maybe you have somebody else?
It's tough. Like it really is tough, honestly. Like, I feel like Joker has been running away with it because you can't deny the performances that he's been putting up. Like, the triple doubles are absolutely insane, but it's like also like what Perez mentioned, Giannis has been dominant as well. So Joel Embiid, definitely Joel Embiid, but Giannis has been dominant as well, but he really impacts the game from both ends. And I think that's the factor that Jokic does. Like, we know Jokic is a great scorer, great passer, definitely great rebounder, but his defense is kind of not necessarily that impactful from that end. So that's where it gets tough, though, because it's like if we're going off of making an impact from both ends, per se, you could say both Giannis and Embiid, in my opinion, should have the nod over Jokic. But when you're going straight off of numbers and possibly impact on offense, then that's where kind of Joker gets that nod. So that's why it's tough for me, honestly, to choose like who is like the favorite for MVP.
It's definitely tough. Because all three of those guys deserve it. And even you could throw Tatum in there too, but I think Tatum's probably going to be the outside one looking in. But all three of those guys deserve it. You know, analytics and all that. Joker's running away with a lot of these
Exactly
analytical stats and all that because it's more than just what we see on the court. Like it's just really crazy offensively how great he is with the ball in his hand. Like it's now I know the defense. He's not a good defender. Don't let anyone tell you that he's solid. He's below solid.
I don't know if y'all saw this clip, but like there was a clip that went viral on Twitter yesterday. It was when the Nuggets played the Spurs and like they were just showing all like highlights of Jokic just getting cooked on defense. Like it was crazy.
Yeah. But it was the whole team though, because remember, they have to get by somebody before they get to Jokic. The whole
because like even analytics will tell you that like he's like a top 10 defender in the league, and it's like okay, all right, that's where you just have to have your eye test, right? That's why you need the eye test. It's like I see boy getting cooked on on pick and rolls, and that's going to happen in the playoffs. You're gonna get pick and roll, and you're gonna get cooked and all that.
They're gonna put him in space. They're gonna put him in space.
Yeah, especially in the playoffs where you've seen the same team set 4 out of 7 times, possibly. 7-game series.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna keep doing that, and there's nothing you can do about that. But I know what he does offensively is tremendous and all, but defensively he's not as effective and all that. He tries and all that, but the defensive. Some of the numbers. Some people will try to convince you that he's this and that. Defensively, he's better. He is better than we think, but he's still not an above average defender in my eyes. I don't care what the analytics say.
Not at all.
Eye test tells me, pick and roll. Like and maybe anything else, then that adds up and all. But when I say I think, pick and roll, that's it. I'm going to pick and roll him to death and all that. And that's what's going to happen in the playoffs. And that's what happened in the playoffs. So, but yeah, they all deserving. All three guys deserve MVP. Embiid is Embiid should be mad at himself that he don't have MVPs because missing a lot of the games the last 2 because he would have 2, and then all this narrative stuff that we're talking that the media it wouldn't be a thing. But even if he had 1, but he missed games and all that, and guess what? Guess the guy behind you didn't miss games, and he had just as good stats.
It's gonna be a tough race.
That's what I was gonna ask y'all too, because it's like what is it gonna take for Embiid to at least be like the front runner for the MVP? Because I mean he's always in that conversation for the last like 3 or 4 years, but it's like people still are not really believers.
Sixers got to be number 1 in the East.
Number 1 seed.
They got to be number 1 in the East. It's unfortunate, but
yep. Because there's 6. They have 67 games played right now. Okay, so they got 6-7 games left. So we got what does that mean? 15 games left in this regular season for them.
Yeah.
If they finish the number 1 seed, and they're the best team overall in the league, I would give them the MVP. He'd be deserving. And then if someone says he's the MVP because this team's the number 1 seed and he's averaging 30 a game and all that, and where is he as far as scoring?
He's leading the
league in scoring. So come on.
Yeah,
so number 1 seed. If he's the number 1 seed, he wins another scoring title. So I mean back-to-back scoring titles, right? He won it last year, right? Scoring title.
Yeah.
So he has 2 and 3 years, whatever it was, but he's won 2 in the last 3 years, or back-to-back. Then the MVP should be his, and he's played enough games, right? He hasn't missed as many games as he usually did the last 2 years. So the games played would be there. He's been healthy this year, as far as just thinking off the top of my dome. Yeah, I would give him the MVP. I think that's what's going to take is the standings, because all 3 stats you can if we're just going to go off stats, I could be like, yeah, they all 3 deserve it. Joker's averaging a triple-double, 1 leading the league of scoring. Giannis is doing it without his second best player on the team. But it's going to come off who has the best, record, I think. And if Embiid gets there, then he's going to win his first MVP. He ain't going to finish second and all that. But that's, injuries that cost him at least 1 MVP. At least 1 MVP it's cost him. Maybe definitely 2, but at least 1 he has. And then it would have ended all this stupid, talk we're having, nonsense that they're having on ESPN and all that. But they love that crap. So
yeah, they love it.